Hey there, welcome back. So today we will check out a yet another very important concept, which is encapsulation. In fact, we have already used encapsulation in our previous program, but today we will check this in detail. In order to save some time, I have already added this project, and let's straight away add a new class in here. Alright, so the name of the class could be like hello to start with, and this class will also contain the main method. So this is cool. And inside this package or .studyeasy, let us add a yet another class. The name of the class would be like person, and let's click on OK. Alright, so now let's add couple of properties for a person. The first thing could be definitely name, so let's add it. So string name, and to start with, to initialize this variable, let us give the name as John. Alright, now we will mark this as a public property, right? Now there is one thing, how public works, how private works, and what are the other access specifier is something which we will see in our forthcoming videos. Alright, so let's add a yet another property. This would be again a public property, and this would be, for example, age. And we will give the default age as 25 maybe. And then finally, we will add maybe gender, and default gender maybe male. Alright, so this looks good to me. And moving forward, let us also add the toString method so that we can directly print the information on our console very easily. And we can also do one thing, generate the getter methods for retrieving a specific property. So now moving to this hello.java file, let us create an object of person type. So for example, person John equals new person. Alright, and let us try to print the information on the console. And here is the output, which is perfect, no issues in here. Now friends, there are a couple of issues in here. For example, these are the default values which we have set, and there is no constructor defined in here, which is again okay. But imagine a scenario, because the properties are public property, we can like mess around a couple of things. For example, we can do like this, John dot age equals -10. Now friends, age of a person cannot be a negative entity. So in here we are setting the property as -10, and if we try to print this on console, then the output should be something like this. Here is the output. Now friends, here is the first issue. We have unrestricted access to the properties, and we can like goof up with the value of the properties. There is no specific restriction to them. So the basics or the pillar of encapsulation is to give a shell to the data which is there inside your object, to encapsulate it, to hide it from the outside world, and give the access whenever it is required. For example, we can add in some setter methods if required. If it is not required to like define a setter method, we won't be defining a setter method, right? So we can like control the level of access which we provide to the outside world. So the first basics of encapsulation is to hide the information from the outside world. So we will proceed further and make these properties as private properties. So this is first thing, which is the pillar of encapsulation. Alright, so now we do not have a direct access. As a result, we won't be able to modify the age, and the output is perfect. Now friends, here is a yet another issue. In here we are like creating an object by the name of John, and we have given some default values, which is perfect. But how we can create custom objects? The answer is pretty simple, constructors. Moreover, there is one more issue. For example, there could be a scenario where we haven't initialized a property and created an object out of it. As a result, the value of gender is null. So encapsulation not only ensure a security and a encapsulated environment for data. Rather, it also ensure that the properties would be initialized when we are making use of specific constructors, right? So in here we won't be initializing any of it, and first of all we will be creating a default constructor in order to initialize the object based on the default values, right? So in here let us generate constructor, and let's deselect all of it, and here is the default constructor, and using this default constructor we can definitely initialize the default values. So we will do it in couple of minutes. First of all, let us also add a yet another constructor using field. Alright, so this looks cool, and I will copy this stuff from here and paste it in here, and I will give some dummy values like John Doe, age is 25, and gender is male. So this would be our default value whenever we create an object using a default constructor, which is cool, right? So let me show you the output. Alright, so this is cool. Now imagine a situation where we would like to give some specific access to the outside world to modify some information in the object. That could be easily done. For example, we would like to give the access to modify the age later down the line as well. So let's create a setter method for age. So using this setter method age, set age, we can like modify the age of the person. Pretty cool stuff, right? So this is good. Let us create a yet another object. The name of the object could be like Pooja equals new person, and this time we would be making use of the parameterized constructor. Name would be Pooja, age could be for example 26, and gender is female. Alright, so moving forward, in here we can like print the object directly, and here is the output, which is cool. Now moving forward, we can like directly update information. We know that we have the access to this object, and we also have the setter method specifically for age. So later down the line, for example, based on our requirement, we would require to update the age of Pooja, right? So in that case we can easily do that. And again, if I try to print the object directly, the output should be as expected, age needs to be updated. Now friends, when we make use of this setter approach, we can also apply some restrictions inside the setter method. Now in here we can apply some rule. For example, I can type in if age is greater than equal to 0 and age is less than equal to 100 maybe, then only set the age, else skip the step, right? So I will move this step in between this if clause, and in order to notify the called method, we can do something extra in here. I can return a boolean value as well. So I will be returning some boolean value, and I will return false if the setting is not done, else if we have successfully setted the age, then we can like return true. So this is a yet another approach which can be followed. Now in here, for example, the age is properly set. For example, I by mistake setting the age to -30 maybe. So this is a logical error. Programming language will not give us any complaint. There is no compile time error. So these kind of error could be rectified, and in here we haven't set the age and the old age has been retained. Now the concept of encapsulation is pretty simple. Encapsulation says that encapsulate data, don't give direct access to the outside world. Data needs to be encapsulated inside the object itself. Rather give getters and setters if there is a requirement, and in order to initialize the object, make use of constructors. So this is the whole and sole logic behind the encapsulation, and this is how in Java world we handle stuff. So this is all about today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and understood the concept of encapsulation.